What's up, everybody? It's Neil from the Aviator Show. What this video is going to cover is how to get your paramotor engine to us here at the Aviator Service Center and how that goes, and some tips and tricks on getting your engine off your chassis, how to package it, and we'll move into the video. So hey, it's Neil from Aviator. Welcome to the Service Center. I want to go through some of the options that we have for getting your paramotor engine here to Aviator, to our service center, that we can get you spun up and taken care of for any maintenance issues or troubleshooting issues that you have. So a couple different options that you have with shipping. The totally free option is you handle the finding the supplies for your paramotor engine, you handle the logistics, pick the carrier, whatever you want to do. The only stipulation with that is I want you to use expanding foam packs. We will have an example of what those are here shortly, but it's a shipping foam. It's got a couple of different fluids. You pop the bag that it comes in and mix it up, and what will happen is there'll be a chemical reaction and it expands, and it works fantastic for protecting any valuables while you're shipping that. So we do require that be used if you do decide to go with level 0 logistics package. The reason being, I don't want an engine showing up here that's been damaged while in shipping. So if that happens, we are sending your engine back to you, and you can pack it up correctly and send it back to us. We'll try again. Level 1 is the next step, the kind of the mid-grade, maybe a little bit more expensive. What we do is we have really good shipping materials to send to you, and it takes all of that legwork out for you. So you don't have to buy a 5-pack of boxes that you're never going to use, or you don't have to run around find all of this materials. You'll just have the box will show up at your door. It will have the expanding foam packs. It will have some packing material along with it, and we'll get into that a little bit of what it is, but that takes that part out of the equation. All you got to do is find the carrier, whichever carrier you want to choose, to send your motor to and from us, and you will, if you want to do insurance, all that stuff, that's all on you. Next level, level 2, is take all the guesswork out of it. The box shows up at your door with all the supplies in it. You put your motor inside of it. It comes with a return or a send label to get your engine to us at Aviator Service Center here. We take care of it, do what needs to be done to it. We send it back to you. All of that is taken care of all in one package. So we decided to use this Mavic here with a Moster. That's pretty much the most common paramotor you're going to see floating around in the paramotor world. This process here will apply to pretty much most of the air-cooled paramotor engines, whether it be a Vitarazi or Corsair, Minari, you name it, all those types of things. If you have a liquid-cooled or an engine with electric start or both, there's going to be a few different steps that you're going to need to follow. Please, if you need assistance with that, email me at repair@aviatorppg.com. These are the tools for this particular operation here with the Moster 185 off-grid throttle, all that stuff. You're going to need Allen wrenches, 2mm or 2.5mm for the throttle cable NARP, the barrel on the end of it, 5mm Allen for the propeller screws, and 6mm for the motor mount screws. Pliers, a pair of snips for cutting zip ties, and channel locks for the cable end for the throttle cable. I'll show you that trick here in a minute. And 10mm or potentially an 8mm. Some throttle cables use a 8mm. So fuel when shipping an engine, it's not the end of the world. Obviously you want to get some of the fuel out of there. If you're able to run your engine and clear out any of the fuel that's remaining in the carburetor, that's cool. If not, just let some of it drip and that'll be okay. Another hot tip is to disassemble your hoop and spars. That makes things a lot easier when you go to remove the engine. I'll show you here in a little bit. Kind of a nice little trick to removing your engine when you're just by yourself. You don't have anybody to help you. So first step is going to be cut or remove the fuel line and let some of that fuel drip out. Step 2 is going to be to remove the propeller. All right. Now what I'm going to do, I'll put the prop in the sleeve, put this stuff in the bag. Okay. Step 3 is only going to pertain to those gear drive engines, so Atom 80 or Polini's and some of the other ones that have gear drive rather than belt. You're going to want to drain the oil because it will spill out of the vents. Step 4 is going to be to drop the harness. So what I mean by that is just the upper harness attachments so you can have room to work to access the engine mounting screws. Step 5, we're going to get the throttle off of, and the throttle cable off of the chassis itself. You may need to detach the throttle entirely from the carburetor. If not, you can just leave the throttle attached to the engine. One point to make about the Parajet Mavic is your terminal may be soldered to the coil. It'll be a small gauge blue wire with a bullet connector. You should just be able to disconnect the bullet connector and it shouldn't be an issue. You don't have to pull it right off the coil. And then you've got the small throttle parts. Please put that in the bag as well when you send us your engine and your throttle and everything, so we have that to put it back together and run on a test stand. Step 6, detach the hour meter from the chassis. I would prefer the hour meter remain with your frame so you can keep it and then just hook it up when you get it back, but if not, so you can send it along with the engine, it is what it is, but yeah, don't sweat it too much. So one thing, keep in mind when you're doing the pull start here, you want to zip tie it to the starter structure itself, so that way the springs don't unwind on you and you'll incur a little bit of extra labor if we have to take the pull start off and rewind and reset the preload and everything, unless you are getting your starter serviced, but just go ahead and zip tie the rope to the starter and be good to go. So what you want to do is get a little bit of slack in the starter rope here so you'll be able to disconnect the pulleys, or if you have an eyelet on your frame or something like that, you can remove the rope and disconnect the pull start rope from the chassis. All right, so step 7, what we want to do is lay the paramotor down on the floor with some soft material underneath it, so like a piece of foam or something like that. That makes it a lot easier to remove the engine from the chassis when you're just by yourself, so you don't have to try and lift it and all that other sort of stuff. And you can use the same method when you go to reassemble the paramotor when you get the engine back from us. And step 8 is going to be to remove the engine mounting screws. So most paramotor engines have 4 mounting screws for the rubber mounts. And yeah, just unscrew those and that's it. And the last step is to move the chassis out of the way and we'll get ready to put the engine in the box. Step 1, take all the stuff out of the box that you receive from us. You're going to lay the one pack of the expanding foam. The foam that you get will be a little bit bigger than the stuff shown in the video here. You're going to lay that out and you're going to position the engine for when the expanding foam, the chemical reaction actually happens. You kind of want to have that engine ready to rock and roll so you can do what you need to do here in a second, which you'll see. Lay the pack out. You're going to pop one of the blisters and start mixing the 2 chemicals by hand. And what that'll do is it'll do a chemical reaction. You want to kind of knead them with your hands. Make sure you get a good mix here. After probably 20 seconds or so, you'll start feeling it get a little bit warm. And then all of a sudden it'll start getting real warm and expand. That's the time to lay the expanding foam down into the box and set the engine on it, and you'll watch here what happens. The chemical reaction happened, the foam is expanded, and it lifted up the engine. We want a layer of expanded foam in between the engine and the box, so that'll really provide a very good layer of protection from any sort of damage in the shipping. All right, now the next step is going to be basically the opposite on top of it. Pop the blister and do the chemical, mix the chemicals, the reaction will happen, and the foam will expand. And what you want to do is kind of spread that foam out over top of the engine. Again, you're going to have a little bit bigger pack of expanding foam that you'll get from us than is seen in the engine here, so you'll get a little bit more coverage with it. So you can also use the flaps to hold down some of that foam and kind of help that spread out. You can even, maybe if you have a piece of cardboard or something like that laying around, you can help distribute some of that foam as well. So the throttle and the prop that is used on your engine, I would like that shipped with the engine. We're going to do a diagnostics on your engine. What that means, we'll mount it up on our test stand here and run it up. So it'll be good to have your specific throttle and propeller to see if there's anything going on with those or other items. Your engine hours will be documented in the work order that you put in. So again, you don't need to send the hour meter with it. So what we don't want shipped with these engines here is things like all the accessories. So your EGT, CHT meters, I don't need any of those. Flotation systems, speed bars, smoke systems, reserves, light systems. GoPro mounts, all that stuff, please remove that stuff. It just adds more labor to your work order here, unless it has something to do with why it's being sent to us in the first place, in which case we'll just discuss that in the email and we'll take care of that from there. But yeah, please remove all that sort of stuff. We just need the throttle and the propeller, and that's it. All right, we're in pretty good shape there. The next step is to take some of that included cardboard paper, the brown paper here that you see in the video. You can use that stuff to fill the voids, stuff all that stuff in there, and you can add more stuff if you want to, so newspaper or something like that, doesn't matter, as long as it fills in the void. So this is the box here with your engine. It's going to be going to the Aviator Service Center. I hope that that was helpful in giving you some tips on removing your engine off of your frame. Main thing with shipping these engines, obviously plastic parts like plastic shrouds, things like that, you want to be cognizant of and protect it. The carbon fiber shroud or the carbon fiber silencers, again, those want to be protected as well. The expanding foam does a fantastic job of protecting that stuff, so that's why we basically make it mandatory for you to ship your engine to us to use that expanding foam. We will provide all kinds of cardboard paper inside of here. It's for you to kind of fill those voids a bit. Welcome to put your own stuff in there too. It's as long as it's reasonable shipping material and not like, I don't know, sand or something like that. It's got to be something useful. But that's it. It's pretty easy. We're trying to make this as smooth sailing as possible for you. Again, we have different logistics levels to kind of accommodate everybody and their needs, and we take it from there. We'll get your engine squared away. My email address is repair@aviatorppg.com. Again, if you have any questions, you want to reach out to me. My name is Neil. This is the Aviator Service Center. Like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.